Is it a small thing for you to weary man? But will ye weary my God also? Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and thou shalt call his name Emmanuel, which means God is with us.
Wrong is maybe a light version, evil may be an intense version of evil.
But that's what I said, once you're wrong.
All right.
There ain't no,
all right.
It's just that you're doing more
so
wrong.
If you was to take a religion, you would not take a religion that encouraged idolatry.
Nothing wrong, no.
No, you would take a religion or you would adopt a way of life that believes in one God, one authority, one power.
Yeah, and that's just not normal, natural life.
That's natural. You believe in hell and paradise.
I believe that's a fairy tale. That part is a fairy tale.
You deny it?
Yeah, that's a fairy tale. Yeah.
Why? So you're saying the prophets lied?
Because like I say,
Moses preached about paradise and hell.
What?
Jesus preached about it.
What?
Abraham preached about it. Muhammad, peace be upon him, preached about it.
But then they're saying there's some. That's what I read. So that's Surah 3, yeah? Maryam, yeah? El Maryam, yeah? Surah 3, El Maryam.
No, there's not Maryam.
Oh, Surah 3,
Al-Imran.
Al-Imran, yeah.
It's a very long surah.
Al-Imran, yeah. I read that. So I read that.
All of it?
All of it.
Right.
And what due to the war of Badr, all of that. Right. Like I say, what I know is that what in that I know that the Israelites that remain again is from there. Yeah, it's in that surah. That's why I know.
A lot of the Quran speaks about Bani Israel, the children of Israel. A lot of it. Actually, almost two-thirds of the Quran is about Bani Israel, children of Israel.
Yeah.
Almost two-thirds.
But I'm talking about the ones that remain. So majority of the conversation is that the Bani Israel is no more.
Who said that?
That's what majority of people convinced, because why are you going over there when you are who you are? That means you don't understand it, that you are still existing for a purpose, because the whole point of you not being there, that means you could go somewhere else. If you're there already, that means you just have to go to what is remain, so that you could teach the
What do you think
thing.
is the central message of the Quran?
The central message, obviously one God, and so to worship one God and to do right and learn more. That's what I'm saying. Worship one God, do right, and learn more.
You're 10% there. Yeah. But the central message of the Quran is to teach mankind who God is, who God is not, to provide humanity with a brief overview on the purposes of life, the purposes of creation, and to connect mankind, to make mankind connected with those things that are sacred to God. So on earth, there are things that are very sacred to God, like his book of Revelation, like the holy lands, like his prophets, like performing the pilgrimage, the holy waters on the land. So those things that are sacred to God, God wants you and I to have a connection with that. And the other principles or main themes of the Quran is to teach us principles of salvation and principles of damnation, and also to give us rules, laws, and ethics how we should engage with each other. So the Quran main fundamental message, if you read it, every message you read in the Quran, you can put 6 boxes and put these messages in either one of these boxes. Number 1, to teach mankind who God is, so man will know his God, and also to teach man who God is not. And you cannot fully know who God is unless you understand who God is not. You can never understand who God is until you know who God is not.
I agree. And you can find it without the Quran. No,
you can't.
Bible. Of course you can. Because Abraham did so.
No, Abraham had revelation directly from God.
That's what I'm saying. So without the Quran, without no,
you're not going to get direct revelation from God. No, you're not.
I do get direct revelation.
No.
It's what I'm trying to say. So
you don't get direct revelation.
Because I know my right self. If you don't know your right self, that's fair enough. But because I know my right self, I have right connection.
God spoke to Abraham just as you and I speak it.
Yeah, he spoke to
God,
he spoke to a congregation
He spoke to
of
Jesus.
Israel,
He spoke to
just
Jesus.
like you and I speaking.
He spoke to Jesus directly like how you and I speak it. He spoke to Moses directly. So when you say God speaking to you, God is not going to speak to you the way you and I speak it. That's not going to happen.
No, you may not know, because like I say, it might not be in your right soul, but I'm in my right soul. Just like I say, God spoke not just to an individual, but to a congregation that everyone witnessed.
That's right.
You understand? We're getting bigger now. We're getting into the family of things. Not just one. Everyone come with one, this one. No. He spoke to a whole family.
That's
so
right.
everyone that was there and their generation got that message.
Where you get that information from?
It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
So it's in the Bible. That means it's right?
That means that if it doesn't mean, of course, it might not be right. But
It may not be right.
But I know.
It may not be true.
But I know.
Might be true, may not be true.
But I know through experience and others' experience, God definitely is amongst us. God walk with us daily.
God walk with us.
That's why.
What does that mean?
God walk with us. Walk with us. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Just like how
if somebody say to
someone
me,
walking with
if
me.
somebody say God walks with us,
Yeah.
I could understand that to be physical, or I could understand that to be metaphorical. So where I come from, if you say, may God walk with you, we know it means may God guidance and His protection and His mercy be with you.
Yeah.
So it's metaphorical, right? But not literal. So this is why I ask you, when you say God walk with us, are you meaning literally He's literally living and walking, or is He metaphorically His guidance are with us, His knowledge are with us, His light is with us, His signs are there with us? What do you mean by it?
Yeah, clarify. So majority of people, when they say God, they want to say the Most High.
Yes,
Yeah?
Like me.
Majority of people.
I'm there.
But they don't say that. So they don't make a clear
Case.
case.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah? They always, that's what I'm saying. You see, that's what I'm trying to say. Based on the psychology of religion, you're going to get this outcome all the time.
I'm gonna cut early.
You're leaving early?
Yeah,
What happened?
I've been awake all night, man. Yeah. Wallahi.
All right, inshallah, we'll catch up soon.
So,
Yeah, big man.
So I'm saying, because it's not religion, is not clarifying these things. Because saying the Most High is different from saying God, because God could be classed as an angel, and angels do walk amongst men. That's why Gabriel, came as a man to the prophet. That's what I'm saying.
Who's the prophet?
I'm giving you from what you know, the Prophet Muhammad. Yeah.
But do you believe that?
But, yeah, to his own people.
No,
Yeah.
I'm asking you, do you believe that Angel
know that-
Gabriel came to the
Oh.
Prophet Muhammad as a form as a man? Do you believe that?
Due to the historical records in that time, because Gabriel was always amongst the children of Israel, and again, the prophet was amongst the children of Israel in
Prophet
Arabia.
Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Peace be upon him.
Yeah.
Prophet Muhammad was amongst the children of Israel in Arabia, learning the Torah in Arabic.
Was learning the Torah in Arabic.
Of course, because every tribe of the children of Israel, doesn't matter if they're in Arabia, in Yemen, they all had the Torah in that language. Remember, this is no small kingdom, this is a big kingdom. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why when the prophet was learning the Torah,
Who was his teacher?
the Yemeni Jews, the Yemeni Jews.
Who? If he had a teacher, his teacher must be known. There was names. He had a teacher with no name.
But that's historically, you have to go through the history of that.
Whichever history you go through, if you say that the Prophet Muhammad had a teacher from Yemen, his teacher from Yemen was a Christian, what was the teacher's
No, I'm
name?
saying he was learned, not Christian. I was saying, remember, these were Israelites, these were Judeans in Arabia. So all of the Judeans, anywhere they are, they have a copy of the Torah in that language. So amongst the tribe or the people,
But that's not always the case.
but it is the case based on their settlement, because they were in Arabia,
But what I'm trying to say,
they were in Yemen.
what I'm trying
You
to say,
understand? They already conquered the whole region, so
What
they
I'm
have to
trying
have
to say-
every book in there.
right? What I'm trying to say to you is this:
Go on.
historically,
And that's historically.
historically,
Yeah.
revelation that was conveyed made to the people of Bani Israel and these holy lands, it was preserved through oral traditions, it was preserved through practice, and it also, the documentation of it was a latter practice. So for example, the Yemenis and the Bani Israel, many of them, they would memorize books, the history, the archaeology, their medicine. All of the traditions were memorized and practiced. So the preservation of their deen, their religion.
That's why, that's correct. That's why you have colleges, universities in Timbuktu, in Alexandria, and this was long before the Prophet, this was long before Judaism, this was long before everything. They had written records before all of this. So imagine that. In Timbuktu, in Alexandria, these are massive colleges that already had records, and they had records of beings coming from different star systems. That's how much records they had. So it's not like we're talking a bit more not premature, because to be more mature is that we're saying that written language, based on what information that we're getting, just come about just say in the last 200 years, 2,000 years. That's what we're thinking.
No, that's not what we're thinking.
Because but that's why you're saying through oral. That's what I'm saying. If some tribes, based on their capacity, they do think through oral. Some other tribes, based on their capacity, they do think through written. That's why there's different ranks of men. That's why there's kings, then there's normal chiefs. These are different ranks. They do think, because some people, they learn better through, again, normal practices, just practice. Some people learn through academia. So there is different storage. You may be talking about those that recorded what was revealed orally. That is just one set of people. There's more than just one set of people.
No, I'm not talking about one set of people. I'm saying to you very, very clearly, I'm not denying the existence of books, writings, or scriptures. I'm not denying that. What I'm trying to say to you, historically, cultures in the Middle East, they preserve their architecture, their safety rules, their religion, their belief, through practice and oral traditions. That's how they preserve. There were no printry in those times, and the process to make tons and tons of books.
Where? There's no printing where?
No, there was no. You know when printing was first invented? Do you know when printing?
I'm not saying when it was.
Do you know when printing was first invented?
I could give you a historical time where it appeared. You had the papyrus, You had, with the papyrus, you could allow to be things to be written on. Where you have ink is not a new thing. Ink.
No one is saying it's a new thing.
Papyrus is not new.
No.
So things was documented. No, that's what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm saying, and I'm not denying that things was documented. That's not a denial.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you.
But I'm saying to you,
I agree with
very clearly, very crystal clear now, that many nations today, many tribes today, big tribes today, exist with all of their traditions intact, not because of a book, but because they had oral traditions and very practical. What's your origin? African?
Of course. Jamaican.
African Jamaican. All right. In Jamaica or in the Caribbean, all right, your mother or grandmother may learn how to make a menu, a special dish, and she didn't learn it from a menu book.
No.
Her mother may have taught her it. Her auntie taught her it. Her grandmother taught her that, and she remained with that dish. She know how to make it. Now your sister may know how to make that exact same dish without a menu book.
True.
Now that tradition could be thousands of years old, but with no menu book. All right. So long time ago, people used to sing songs about Bob Marley. Did anybody have an iPhone or take out a book and says, "I'm memorizing this song by Bob Marley"?
You're right.
How they used to memorize these songs?
By listening.
99% of Bob Marley songs, it wasn't written down. It's all is in his head.
That's true.
And that's recently. So what I'm trying to say to you, there are many tribes who know how to do the circumcision.
Oh, you're right, 100%.
They have no books. They never went medical school, but their father did this, their auntie did it, their cousin did it, and they know how to perform circumcision by practical tradition and orally learned.
That's true.
So a lot of our history,
I told you not wrong. I told you not wrong.
a lot of our history is preserved through oral traditions, even up to today. So even if you go Jamaica now, you might meet a child 8 or 10 years old. He might sing 7 or 8 Bomali songs, Peter Church songs, all those songs. Did he go through a book?
No, I just listen.
You just memorize it. So it's in our nature like that. Are you with me? And I'm saying to you, the scriptures, like that of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he memorized the scriptures, and his time, his society was preserved. They know how to build tents, they know how to build cities, they know how to look after the animal, they know how to deliver children, they know how to heal each other, they know the herbs, not because they study books of encyclopedia or they went to a college. It's through oral transmission and practical, practice.
By people that was practicing before.
So exactly. So a lot of the traditions, for example, if we go back to Jesus, you believe in Jesus?
More historically.
Right, okay. So if you go back to Jesus, right? Jesus existed about 2,500 years ago, approximately.
The first BC.
Right. So, and when Jesus came, the population of his time was quite small. It wasn't a big population, hundreds and millions of people. It was a small population.
Of his people.
Of his people right there in Bethlehem, in Jerusalem, at the sea coast. Because majority of the disciples who followed Jesus were fishermen on the coast. And the community there now, I don't know, was something between maybe 10 million, whatever. But in that time, the population could have never been big. So the document he had as guidance, the document, was never a big, elaborate document. So the Ethiopian Bible is 88 books. Jesus did not have 88 books. He didn't even have a Bible. He did not have a King James Version.
But he went to places. He did travel.
I didn't say he didn't travel. But the point what I'm trying to say to you,
there could be things there.
Make to you, a lot of Jesus' guidance was through oral transmission.
I agree.
It's oral transmission. It's how it's preserved.
I agree. And obviously to confirm that, you could go to people that are practicing that and if they're having the result of that. Yeah. That's why again.
Yes, the practice.
There were people that are already there. Again, already practicing, already doing things in that language. Because look, in between Jesus, the first BC, and the Prophet Muhammad, that's 500 years, In between that, there were all of the Imperial Roman army. The legions that come out of Aksum, Ethiopia, the legions that come out of Luxor, Egypt, the legions that come out of Liberia, also same place that you mentioned, Academian, Assyrians. These are different legions, and in those times, remember, they're legions, they're army men, they're ready. I remember that is in the first BC, 50 BC. And these are army men that are able to travel through ships and go to different places.
Even traveling in the desert by the moon and the stars, men knew how to travel, where to travel. They approach in the desert, where to get water, where you will not get water. If you go in this route, there's dangerous animals there. They're going to eat you. You go on this. They knew that to travel by stars. Long time ago, a man will travel on a boat, on a ship, and he put his net out there to fish. And he know how to get back home, where to go by the stars. Now, he didn't read a book.
I agree. No, that's what I'm saying. But we have
understanding scriptures.
We have been taught through biology, though. We have been taught through our fathers and our fathers, but this is without, because the main point was we could understand without a book, because that's why I said Abraham.
Yes. I'm with that.
Point,
I'm with that.
So that's and we just clarified that due to our family orientation, we could understand what's been going on. Like I say.
So you're still studying the Quran?
No, I don't finish studying the Quran.
What do you mean?
Because the said Quran led me back to my family.
Which family?
The Windrush generation, me knowing that, again, these Windrush generation, these are the lost tribes that remain true to everything. That's why I'm here. Because, like I say, in between...
So your ideology is really based on identity?
Yeah, of course.
It's identity ideology.
Because without knowing your normal biology, this is psychology. Without having a development in psychology, you're hard to be able to identify yourself. You're hard to be able to stand up.
So you identify yourself, you know your history, you know your belonging, you understand all of that.
Yeah.
The purpose, your general purpose, God creates you and you have a beginning, you have a middle, you have an end game. What do you think is the end game? Paradise and hellfire. What is your end game?
End game to know what's right.
No, that's the middle game.
And by knowing what's right, it will, wherever the end game is, it will be the right end game.
Right.
Because
so the
right,
God that you believe in,
right is
the God that you believe in, He didn't teach you, He did not teach you that I created you, and I created you either for paradise or hellfire. If you obey me and serve me, you go to paradise. You disobey me and you do what you want, you'll go hellfire.
No.
You disbelieve in that?
No, because it's life.
You know the Quran teaches that.
But that's what I'm saying. Because
did you read that in the Quran?
Yeah. But that is based on man interpretation.
Okay. Yeah. So what is your interpretation?
If you do right, you go to the right place. If you do wrong, you go to the wrong place. That is just normal biological function. Because if your psychology ain't taught right, then you're gonna have a defect. That means you're not gonna be able to be right in many things. But if you're taught right, you could see the difference. Just like if you could look out, you could see, for us being here, something has to be right for us to be here. So if that's based on the foundation where nature is reside, because nature and nurture has to be right first. Yeah? And then based on how our parent is connected to nature, that's how we'll be nurtured wherever they're connected. Connected right, they will nurture right. So we could identify if they didn't nurture us right, there's some disconnection through nature, because nature is what's right, because that's what provides us with everything that we need. Yeah.
And the creator of nature, are you going to deny him?
No, that's life. Yeah.
The creator of life.
Yeah.
The creator of nature.
Yeah.
The one who created life.
Right.
The one who created life and the one who created nature. Yeah. He also created guidance for how to live. So God give you life.
That's through nature, though.
He give you life. God give you life.
Yeah.
But He also send guidance to you how to live.
Yeah.
You agree with that? So He sent guidance to prophets. He sent guidance to prophets. He sent guidance through books, and He sends guidance to people who are not prophets. So God sent you guidance how to live.
I don't think He sent guidance through books.
So you disagree with the book of guidance, all the books of guidance?
The books, definitely, because this is the book. This is the open book. This is the book of life. If you can't read from this first, then any book that you pick up, you're not going to be able to interpret it, because this is the basic of what's right. This is the moral compass. Because without no ground, you not know where to go. So if you don't have the ground, if you foot on the ground, again, whatever you read, you're just going to be floating in the air. You're just going to be in fairyland. You're not going to be able to have foot on the ground. That's why psychology is so important to our basic structure, our basic standard. Because again, if you teach a 4-year-old about what to read, again, he's going to continue reading the same book over and over again, never get bored. But again, when your psychology starts to develop, you realize, okay, there is more to know. And that psychology then going to go back into
mankind
the natural frame.
My argument is this. Not argument.
No, yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah. But my point is this. Yeah. Mankind will be forever in continuous misguidance until he recognizes the role model that God sent to teach him. Because mankind by themselves, they need leaders, they need teachers. Every human being needs a teacher. You will be a teacher. You'll be a teacher to your children. Naturally. Right. And even if you have 4 or 5 kids, one of those children will show signs of maturity more than the others.
Yeah.
And he might be the teacher or inspirer to inspire, to motivate, to guide, and to protect. So by nature, if you look at the animal kingdom, there's a lion in the pack, there's a leader, there's a shepherd. So they always have that. So within our life, God sent us leaders who we call prophets and messengers to teach us and to guide us. And at this junction, do you recognize Jesus as a teacher, Muhammad as a teacher, Moses as prophets and teachers, and Abraham? Peace be upon them all. You recognize them or you deny them?
Religion, in religion?
No, we're not talking religion. We're talking about recognizing historically, factually, Jesus, Moses, Abraham, and Muhammad, peace be upon them. Do you recognize them?
No, in history they have a total different cover. That's not their name. All of these things. In history, they are true that there were right people that were guided through all of the righteousness.
All right, so we are right. So you agree they're rightly guided people?
Yeah, they are right. Of course,
and they made an impressionable impression on the communities at their time.
Yeah.
So Jesus made a tremendous impression on his community at his time.
Yeah.
So did Moses, so did Abraham, so did Muhammad. They all made an impressionable. Now, the key message that I saw from all of these great, mighty messengers and prophets is that number one, they are the role model, and number two, their message was against all forms of idolatry, tyranny, and Satanism and hedonism. So if you look at Jesus, Moses, Abraham, and Muhammad, all of them together were tenaciously devoting their lives against tyranny, idolatry, hedonism, and Satanism. And therefore, those who recognize them, we devote our lives against and preaching against all forms of tyranny, idolatry, hedonism, and Satanism. What is your response to that?
We could break it down even simpler. They recognize what was right. That's just it. Like, and they.
So do you see idolatry as being evil?
They see it as being evil.
No, idolatry.
Yeah. So following an idol, so following something that...
Idolatry, yes.
Yes, following something, right?
There are 6 forms of idolatry. So you have the classical form. The classical form of idolatry is to worship stone and statues, wood, and hand-graven images. That's the classical form of idolatry. There's another form of idolatry where a person worships materialism.
Okay.
Right. There's another form of idolatry where a person worships their pleasures. They serve all the pleasures. And there's another form of idolatry where somebody just worship, man-made laws, or they worship themselves. Like for example, some people obsessed with blackness. And some people are obsessed with whiteness.
That's true.
So they want to paint the whole world white, and others want to paint the whole world black, and we want to paint the whole world right. So we don't want to paint the whole world white. I don't support anybody painting the world white or painting the world black. We want to support painting the world right with righteousness.
Righteousness is important.
So the question
Most
would be:
important righteousness.
do you see idolatry as evil?
It's wrong.
Evil.
I would say it's wrong. Wrong is evil, isn't it?
Well, wrong is maybe a light version. Evil may be an intense version of evil.
But that's why I said, once you're wrong, you're wrong.
All right.
There ain't no.
All right.
It's just that you're doing more wrong.
So if you was to take a religion, you would not take a religion that encouraged idolatry.
Nothing wrong, no.
No, you will take a religion, or you would adopt a way of life that believes in one God, one authority, one power.
Yeah, and that's just not normal, natural life. That's
natural.
That's just natural life. Nature, because before religion, you had mysticism, and all religion has adapted that, and mysticism come from again Egypt. Think about that.
What is mysticism?
Life itself, like the workings of life, all of the intellectual properties of life.
I'd never thought mysticism to be life.
Of course it is.
I think it's much more than that. When something is mystic,
what can you get more than life?
When something is mystic, it's mysterious. Like for example, you're talking about the soul.
Just like breathing is a mysterious thing.
Well, it's biological.
Seeing is a mysterious thing. Because, like I say, there's things...
So if something is a mystery, it's a mystery, it's not very obvious, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
So for example, it's a mystery to see how the birds will fly and they will release whatever they release onto the earth, and that will have seeds, and the seeds will plant. Right. Exactly. So it's about solving a problem.
Even the way a plant grows, even the way a baby grows, that's all a mystery. That's all natural life.
Yes. So that's a mystery. So is it mystical in that sense?
Of course it is.
Okay.
Because there are things that are happening now, but we can't see, but it's actually there. And these are the higher forms of mysticism.
Right.
Which
So
is
if
life
you believe,
segue.
if you accept mysticism,
Yeah.
do you believe, as all of the prophets of the past believe, that God created a hellfire and a paradise for the righteous and a hellfire for the disbelievers? Do you believe in that?
I believe, from what I know, if you do wrong, you go to the wrong place. If you
Which
do
is
right,
where?
you go to
Where's
the
the
right
wrong place? You're going to prison? If you do wrong, you go to prison. The wrong place, are you talking about prison?
No, so wherever the wrong things are congregated, that's where it's just like, for instance. Okay,
But did you get time to contemplate the concept of the hellfire? For example, Hitler,
No.
right? Hitler was an evil, nasty piece of work. So let's assume somebody is 10 times bad as Hitler, all right? And somebody just walk up to them while they're on the throne, shoot them in the head with a bullet, and they just died. Do you think that's justice being served there?
Because it's following all the wrong.
Right, but it's
the
not
wrong
justice
chain.
there, because he haven't paid for all the wickedness he have done. So, but he will pay in the hereafter.
But the justice was based on the wrong direction, because justice is based on you're justifying the direction that you're going. So if you're going over there, you're justifying your route.
But life
So
after death is a complete
same-
concept of justice.
it's the same. It's like it keeps going.
Life after death.
So if you go to
Believe in hell and
but
paradise.
I believe that's a fairy tale. That part is a fairy
You
tale.
deny it.
Yeah, that's a fairy tale. Yeah.
Why? So you're saying the prophets lied?
Because like I say,
Moses preached about paradise and hell.
is what
Jesus preached about it.
What?
Abraham preached about it. Muhammad, peace be upon him, preached about
but
it.
then they're saying there's somewhere that they go. So if they preach about it, they're saying that's an evidence that they went somewhere.
Yeah, but why are they saying that?
It's just like someone going to a prison and they see bare bad people. They're saying, right, I don't want to go. I don't want to be here. Just like someone
But
going
why
to the
did the
mountain
prophets preach
and
that?
saying, right, I've been in the mountain, because there are places you can go.
No.
Just
You know why they preach
natural,
that?
Natural life.
Do you know why they preach that?
Go on.
Number one, God showed the prophets.
That's how I realized.
Yeah, I understand that's your position. But God taught the prophets and showed most of them the hereafter. He showed them paradise and he showed them hell. All right? And God taught the prophets, educated the prophets in order to teach us that we're living here for a short time. When we die, the eventual destination for all human beings is either paradise or hellfire. Now, if a person wants to deny it, that's your choice. According to the Quran, in Surah Al-Zumar, the last part of it, وَقَالُوا خَزَنَاتُهَا, and those keepers of the hellfire, when every time a group is going to enter the hellfire, an angel or a keeper of the hellfire will say, did not a messenger come to you reciting our verses, informing you of this day? And they will say, that is true.
See, I see that as a story. A reason why, yeah?
So is history is a story.
No, but there is
History is a story.
because
Mystic is a story.
Because history
and that's
is
a
real.
story, is a true story.
that's
Because
what
it came
I'm
from the prophets. And the most truthful of all people is the prophets.
No, I'm not saying that's wrong. But like I say, based on our biology, based on our psychology, how we're developed, yeah? Based on our psychology, how we're developed, we could hear something, and based upon our development, we could take it the wrong way and do the wrong thing based on our psychology. So think about it. So the more your psychology is developed, the more you could ravel whatever is real or whether it's just a metaphor for you to understand what is real.
Right.
Because
but
everything
different to
is
the
based on
psychology.
reality.
Let me share something with you different to the psychology.
Because that's the highest form. Because I'm saying without psychology, you ain't have a form of behavior. Because whatever comes in your mind, that's how your body behaves.
Right.
So you could say anything.
However, there's another dimension, a mystical dimension to the psychology, the psychic of the human being. Well, let me share that.
That's
with you.
impossible, because in psychology it covers the whole thing.
Everything.
Because
Okay, that's fine.
Intellectual development, you would say the same thing. I would say that's what
Okay.
it is.
So if you're using psychology in a very broad sense, I'm fine with that.
yeah,
okay. We don't have any issues
No
with
issue,
it.
no issue.
But check what Islam says. According to Islam, every soul, before it was born, it was made to know its God, its Lord, its Maker. And when it come into this world, that soul takes flesh, and the flesh and the soul is there. When truth, it come in contact with truth, it will recognize it and feel it. So for example, you're here, beyond and within your psychology, when somebody come to recite to you your creator, your Lord, and they tell you the truth, somewhere inside of you just know it and feel it to be true.
No,
because your DNA, your spiritual DNA is written for you to find your Lord, for you to know your Lord.
I agree with you, but it's always based on how much your psychology has been developed. Because again, imagine you're speaking to a person that has been deprived of everything that you talk about. Remember, to the point that they're even numb, they're disabled, they can't observe that. So it's all based on the development of that individual. You get it? Some things can be true to a person that is only know that thing, and some things can be analyzed and studied to say, okay, there's a similar understanding because their psychology, their brain has developed even more to understand.
Conditioned.
But just like I said, just like you
conditioned,
say,
mental conditioning.
Just like you say, yeah, exactly what you mean. In psychology, the intellectual part goes all the way to your maker, yeah, to your source. But that source is only right. That is only a right. There ain't no other description. It's only right. Because the reason why it's only right, because there's an establishment of right things for us to even be here. So just like, again, in between our creator and getting to here, we have to go past all of the elements, all of the things that are already formed before that, before we take up this body. So he has to get you past all of the right things so that you could know for yourself that you have gone through all these right channels to get here, so that when you get here, you realize, okay, how do I continue going in the right direction? And when you and that has to be based on your connection to all of the right things. So then you will go again based on what you're educated or what you've been nurtured with, conditioned with.
Yeah, programmed and conditioned.
Yeah. You could understand, okay, you're listening to the point. So if you're not able to observe that condition and make a change, like a baby can't make a change when his mother speaks to him, when you get older and observe things for your own independence, then you could come back and say, right, what you said earlier, Mom, that wasn't right. Due to the fact that you're getting the information not through no individual, not through no interpretation by no one, you're getting it right directly through what's right. So that meaning your psychology is now based on how you intake things. So how you being educated. So if you're educated through other people, then again you have a harder way to get to what's right. But if you're educating yourself,
but would you say that mankind will be? We're talking about education, programming, psychology, all that. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Would you say mankind will be totally in a state of lost whenever he is disconnected from his leaders, spiritual leaders like the prophets, Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Muhammad, peace be upon them all. Whenever there's a disconnection from what God made sacred, what God made sanctified, whenever we get disconnected from the sacred, the most valuable, precious items on the earth, when we get disconnected from that, mankind goes into a state of a different conditioning of misguidance and delusion.
But you're right, it's just like now. Because, again, the things that are missing, the things that are missing to make religion the right ideology is that they're missing the development of the psychology. They're missing the historical development, it's in the social development, we're missing the cognitive development, we're missing the emotional development, and we're missing the intellectual development, which is the key to knowing what's right. Because within that, you could get, like I say, someone that has just reached 4-year-old level, yeah, and you could try to teach them all the right things, but because, like I say, that level is just for 4-year-old. The higher you go, you're gonna come back to your biological makeup, because you're gonna realize, right, I need family, I have community. That's why I show you the difference, yeah, based on the psychological age range. through religion, you could be told something that, again, it could be a mystery, that's something that you're unable to observe as yet. And someone may
But
know
God
that.
taught Adam how to live.
No, I understand.
God taught Adam how to live and how to set up a family life
Yeah.
and how to set up a community life. So our inception of guidance started with Adam, our father, or our
Yeah,
forefather.
I agree.
Adam was inspired by God how to live on earth. So he had a family, he built a tribe, he built a nation, he built a society with rules, ethics, belief, culture, and Adam becomes that model. Generations after Adam, God raised up from Adam generation again a leader, Noah, to guide nations. So we are deluded, misguided, confused because we are disconnected from our leader.
You said something great. All right, look at that.
Go
Yeah?
on.
So, God, Adam, yeah? That there is not a religious aspect. That is a biological aspect. That's what I'm saying, biological aspect and a psychological aspect. Because if you can't connect to God biologically, meaning physically, then the other part of the psychology is also connected, just like the intellectual part. Because you could only get the intellect from God, you would say. I would say myself, yeah?
I'm following you.
Emotion.
I think we're using different languages.
No, yeah, of course.
But we're on something.
Because
But what I'm trying to say, you as a person,
I've got past religion. That religion has got me back to family, to the core tangible thing. Yeah,
I'm with that.
And I'm
that
showing you.
song.
So from Adam now, getting all of his
Guidance,
it's
structure.
It's psychological development, yeah? Look, can I give you that? Because that is the base, psychological development. He's able to know what's right.
You wouldn't say spiritual development as well.
Because
Adam has been educated by God.
The word spiritual.
Who named Adam?
No, you're right. I'm saying the word spiritual.
God named him.
The word spiritual is a lazy context. It's a more lazy context. Psychology is the actual working of spirituality.
Okay.
Of mysticism. It's what I'm saying, it's actual working, that how things actually work.
Okay.
So obviously.
So I get it that you're taking the word psychology far broader than how it's traditionally used.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm following.
Because when I studied it, I realized it is broader than what we're
traditionally use it for.
Traditionally used, because that is a source of inspiration, because that has to deal with the individual control.
Because the
over
definition
their
of
mind
psychology. The definition of psychology is the study of how the mind operates, how it reacts,
the body,
how it reacts.
Yeah.
Now, psychology is not necessarily how the body reacts.
No.
But how the mind reacts.
No, because remember, the mind makes the body react.
Not always.
Because without the mind, the body ain't move. That's why when people go through certain surgery and it affects their brain, they become a lettuce. They can't move. That's why memory is based on your mind. Memory.
Yes. Memory is connected.
Yeah. So without memory, you can't do nothing. Because sometimes you forget your keys and you have to remember your body's walking.
Yeah, but your body has memory as well. Muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory is true.
So for example,
because of the nerves.
Yeah. So the mechanics of how you do something. So let's say there might be some knitting something. Simple use. Somebody might be knitting something. Their mind could be somewhere else, watching television, doing this. But whatever they're doing on that machine, So for example,
because remember the mind already programmed it to actually react.
For example, typing. I could be talking to somebody, one of my family, and I can still type. Just continue typing because it's just memory.
But you realize your mind is complex. It could access more than one thing at one time. Your mind. So, but that's going back to the biology of things. I'll just give you an example. All right. So, using religion, because it requires a higher level of education. That's why the prophet wasn't just a normal person. He was at rank. Every prophet had a rank. They were above normal. Yeah. So obviously it shows you that to pick up a religion or to enforce religion, you have to be above normal. Because obviously when you do interpret something based on the psychology, they won't fully grasp it. So I was just showing. So in terms of
all prophets were teachers.
Yeah, above normal.
They were teachers.
Yes.
And as a teacher, they get teaching from a more powerful source.
Exactly what
So
I'm
for
saying.
example, we believe
Exactly.
all the prophets were taught by Angel Jibril.
Yeah.
The Archangel Gabriel is the teacher of all the prophets.
Yeah.
So they were taught by higher force. And when they teach on earth, God give them the guidance and teaching. But my point, what I'm trying to say, any of mankind get disconnected from the prophets for whatever reason, they will be in a state of lost and misguidance. And one of the purposes, one of the main messages of the Quran is to connect the heart of mankind to the prophets, to the masjids and the places of praying, and to do the pilgrimage, and to everything that is holy and sanctified on earth.
Yeah.
God wants you to make a connection to that. That's one of them.
And my point is that if your psychology ain't developed, you would not be able to have that connection that you need to be able to fulfill all of the right things. Just like that. That's why I put at this point of my learning, of this point of my journey, it's certain that I have to start from the psychology, so that again the firmness of what is delivered right. Because I show you, if based on your teaching or your education, what you've learned, you are easily led, someone could say, okay, there's these people based on what God said over there to go and destroy them. Majority of people, based on their psychological development, they will go and say, yeah, okay, go over there. Not knowing if they have gone through the psychological development, family, all of these things, they could have a more perception to say, okay, let me go and inquire of the situation, because I might have my cousin over there, I might have my brother over there. You understand? So,
And even if you don't have a family relative there, the question is, how do you assess that to be right and wrong? And I get that, I understand that.
Say, so
but however, I noticed that your journey now is to make a historical connection or psychological connection with the Windrush scandal and rectifying that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave you with this. You know, you're doing some studies on the Quran. You did some things. That's quite good.
No,
but
I've done. That's what I'm saying. The Quran has led me back to my people, because it does tell you that you need to learn more. Even if you learn, it's go and learn more, go and find out more. So the whole point that's it guides me to go and find out more. And I'm saying, based on the
finding more about what?
By myself.
About yourself, that's fine.
And,
yes.
Obviously about the family, how the best way to do right. Yeah.
But the Quran also bids you, it encourages you, it impresses upon you the importance of knowing who God is, knowing who God is not, and making a connection, you making a physical connection with those things that God makes sanctify on the earth, the prophets and the masjids and the holy places and the holy lands. You must make a connection with it and with the holy people.
But
that's an obligation.
No, I agree. But that's why, firstly, before you're able to do that,